I personally do not know how much more I can take. And I promise you guys, I'm not going to cuss in this video. Heck, I'm not even going to edit, trim, cut anything with my voice. I'm just going to be talking with you guys with some music to you guys. So I just honestly am in a loss for words as what's happening with Nintendo right now. Because we all remember Nintendo. We all know Nintendo. They're the biggest video game company out there. You know, they've helped people save lives. They brought, amazing experiences with, like, the 3DS, the Nintendo Wii, and they've even broken so much records. But it's just as of recently, I just don't know what's going on with Nintendo. Like, you could say things along the lines of, like, corporate greed, business practices, the prices of everything, us, them not listening to us fans about what we truly want. And, I'm going to be going over all that in this video, but honestly, it's just a dumpster fire right now at Nintendo, and I don't even know, like, where to begin. Like, you can definitely say things like I said earlier, but there's a reason why you clicked on this video is because you felt something. You felt an emotion towards, this talking point that I am right here. Whether you are fed up with the prices, whether you are, sick and tired of Nintendo not listening to its fans, whether you are sick and tired of just the corporate greed and the business practices that they are just doing right now. So I just want to bring some light into this subject about how, like, a love-hate relationship it is right now for Nintendo, because that's what it really does feel like. And this is going to be a very critical video about just everything that Nintendo should be doing to actually win back over its consumers, because right now I'm just pretty much done and I just don't know what else to do. No, I'm not losing motivation to make videos. No, I'm not losing motivation to just play Nintendo content, because at the core, just like with you guys, Nintendo really knows how to make memorable experiences for us out there. When we were children, when we were actually younger, Nintendo was always there for us with, like, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and even games like Wind Waker and Metroid Prime and Kirby. While Xbox and PlayStation was always duking it out for competition, Nintendo was always doing its own thing, and they always brought the fun to the table. Sure, Xbox and PlayStation has some good games, but not nearly as much great games as Nintendo, because Nintendo really wanted to prioritize that factor of fun, that need for something that we've always wanted when we were younger and currently. I just feel like right now, Nintendo is really missing the mark when it does come to what brings fun to the table. I'm pretty sure you guys can remember your fondest memory of a video game history. 99% of you guys, I guarantee you it's going to be something Nintendo related, because that's just what Nintendo does great. They're so innovative, they're so creative, and they also just, really know how to hit home with a lot of these video games. But as of recently, this is just reminding me of, like, a Wii U situation, where obviously it's not as big of a flop as the Wii U, but it's going more and more towards that direction where a lot of people are hating on this console, Jesus, for a number of reasons. Now, whether that is corporate greed, business practices, the price of everything, who even knows? But you would think that a lot of people would be excited for Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Switch, and a lot of people aren't happy about it. And this could be due to a multitude of reasons. The fact that we got 3D All-Stars for the Switch, the fact that we, already had these games before, the fact that they're not even completely remasters, they're just ports with a little bit of upscaling and selling them at full $70. The fact that just everything is just right now a dumpster fire at Nintendo. And now I want to talk about the communication factor with Nintendo, because there has been several things that we have been asking for time and time again when it does come to Nintendo. When are we going to see eShop music? When are we going to see a better online experience? When are we going to be getting DS for Nintendo, like the eShop? Or when are we going to be receiving Virtual Console? And most importantly, when are we going to be receiving themes for the console? Because as of right now, each single console in the Nintendo family has something that the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't. That is a personality experience. Whether you want to customize your Nintendo 3DS with themes, or whether you have a personalizable home screen like the N64, when you boot it up and it has so much more character, so much more fun. And I feel like a lot of people are also getting annoyed at this factor, because that's what Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 are lacking It's more character. Like, there's no character whatsoever within these consoles, and it just feels like that they were made on a, factory, like a 9-to-5 job, where they just put them out in the ideas and they lost all creativity and all motion towards this. I feel like also that there's a lot of remasters coming out, and there's not really decent games out there. As of right now, they are listening to the fans when it does come to what is actually working, like Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, which is a game I never seen in a 3D Donkey Kong for so long. But I feel like the niche stuff is where they're really missing the mark. The games are great, but the console is really what matters when it comes to a video game. Because you can have the greatest games out there, but if the console absolutely sucks, no one's going to buy it. Especially at a $500 price point, and with the tariffs and everything else in between, the Switch 2 may possibly go up in price again. And who even knows how much it's going to be? A Switch Lite is now $220. A Switch OLED is $400. You might as well just get a Switch 2 and pay the extra $50 to get it. Not to mention the entry fee is so high, and the fact that if you want to play online and you want to get games, dedicated to the Switch 2, it's going to be a lot more expensive. And the thing that Nintendo has been doing as of recently is, adding in these, $80 DLCs to the game. So let's say you don't have Super Mario Bros. Wonder and you want to buy the new DLC that got announced for it. It's locked to $80. A game like that should be $60. Heck, even maybe $70. But, these things like Super Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby in the Forgotten Land, I just feel like the price is way too high, especially for fun gaming experience, which we really don't have now. What I suggest everyone to do is, instead, I don't recommend this, but if you guys want to, save up for a gaming PC. There is a lot of better stuff that you can get on a gaming PC, and the entry for that is very high. I'm talking like $1,500 to $2,000, but the amount of savings that you're going to be having over the course of the year is much cheaper than getting something like a Switch 2 and getting maybe 3 games. That's $500 plus $210 plus an eShop thing. $210, $90, that's like $800. That's like a price of a graphics card, which is insane. Sure, you're going to be getting a lot more value for the Nintendo Switch 2, but in the long run, it's cheaper to just get a PC. And honestly, a lot of people are just fed up with Nintendo. They don't want to keep on supporting them anymore until they actually start listening to the fans, because you could just read it anywhere. You could even read it in the Mario Galaxy overview trailer. People don't want to pay $70 for ports. They just want to have fun. I feel like that's where Nintendo is definitely missing the mark. Like I said, I don't want this video to all be negative. In fact, I don't even want it to be positive. I just want it to be a critical overview of what the heck is actually going on and how they can fix it. Because right now, with each game that they release, time and time again, they're just digging themselves deeper in the hole with price points, with the amount of I don't even know what you call it, with no fun in there. Metroid Prime 4 could be great, but when it comes out, it could be the biggest bust of all time, and we don't know until we pay that price point of $70 to actually play it. And, it's just $70 is a lot nowadays, actually coming from a video game company. And who even knows, this could even be worse, and I can almost guarantee you that this is not going to get fixed anytime soon. When that next 3D Mario comes out, just like the Mario Kart, they may price point it at $80 or even $90 or heck, even $100 because they know fans are going to buy it regardless, just like an iPhone. But the difference between Nintendo and iPhone is that the prices of iPhones stay the same every year, while Nintendo just loves to raise their prices. And I'm not an iPhone guy myself. I'm an Android guy. You guys can judge me about that in the comment section below. But honestly, if stuff doesn't happen soon with Nintendo, like with prices, with the way that they listen to fan feedback, and instead of just doing stability updates for system updates, adding stuff that we've been begging for since day one of the Switch, Nintendo, and I'm going to cuss right here, you need to wake the fuck up.